Hello, I'm Mark Price. Good morning. It's Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to everybody. I just wanted to send a brief Merry Christmas to you and tell you that for the last over 40 years, since the early to mid 1980s, I have been performing Santa Claus and preaching at a church service as Santa Claus, as I say, for now over 40 years. Last night was no different. I did 2 church services last night. There's a picture you'll see that my daughter took last night at one of the services last night. My message is always the same. Santa is saying that it's not about me, Santa Claus, it's about Jesus, the birth of Jesus, the birth of the King of all creation, the birth of the Messiah. And that's the message. But there's 2 things that I do every single presentation. Every time I, on Christmas Eve, portray Santa Claus and deliver this homily, this sermon, if you will, I do 2 things at the end. I ask a favor. I say that I would like all of you kids, before you open your first gift, I'd like you to get with your family and hold hands if you can, light a candle if you can with your parents' help, and that candle will represent Jesus, the light of the world. And then as a family, before you open your first gift, say a prayer. Say, thank you, Jesus. Happy birthday, Jesus. Simple, simple, but you're putting Jesus first. The second thing I do is I say to the congregation, I said, I need you all to stand up. And the whole congregation stands up. And I said, I know that Christmas can be a very tough time of year. A lot of stress, a lot of tension, a lot of families, a lot of couples, they fight with each other because of the stress, because of the tension. So 2 things. First of all, knock it off. It's about Jesus, not you. Focus on the birth of Jesus. And the second thing I want you to do is turn to each other right now. I don't care how your day has been going. Turn to each other and look each other in the eyes and say, I love you. Merry Christmas. And give each other a big hug. And you know, the whole congregation does it. They've been doing it. I used to do, when I was younger and healthier, 4 services on a Christmas Eve. Now I'm down to 2. Last night I did 2. And but at every single one of them since the 80s, I would tell them to hug each other and say, I love you, Merry Christmas. Well, one year, years ago, at the end of the church service, the end of Mass, I was in the back of the church and I saw a woman off to the side in her probably high 70s. Tears were rolling down her face, and I went over to her and I said, are you okay? What's wrong? And she said, I'll tell you. She looked at me in the eyes and she said, my husband died 7 years ago. That was the first hug I've had in 7 years. So this Christmas, I'd like to encourage you to hug someone, to remember to put Jesus first, and to realize that there are people in this world who could use that human touch, who could use a simple thing like a hug, like a warm embrace, and be there for them. I think it's not an accident that Jesus came to this earth at a time when there was no mass communication, no video, no electronics. So all communication was done person to person, because God knows we human beings, we need that person to person. We need that close touch. So this Christmas, be that someone who is there for somebody else. Hug. Your gift can be something as simple as a hug, and it might make the world of difference to someone else. Merry Christmas. This is Mark Price. Thanks for listening.